Hello, everybody.
So, right before we get started, I always do the first question or two, and I'm always trying to do a deep dive and ask, like, I'm not going to ask you things that you get asked by everybody else. And you and I have something in common when I was going through stuff, because I already knew your movies, I do the television, and I've got to ask about Hunter x Hunter later, because that movie floored me. It is so damn good.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed shooting that one.
Dude,
Sure.
we'll get to it in a minute.
Okay.
But your dad was a mechanic.
Yeah, he was.
So was mine.
Okay.
So how do you think that shaped, this is an odd question, and I'm hoping you don't get it a lot.
Yeah.
Because my dad was a mechanic and also worked in oil and gas, and I just think there's a certain perspective it gave to my life, the way I look at things, the way I do, that I don't see from other people. It's not just being able to like do your, and he's always been disappointed in me, even though, you know, like I went to college, got mad, do this.
Right.
But he couldn't care, you know, it's like that. I can't rebuild a 350 small block. It's like a disappointment, right?
Yeah.
How were you interested in any of that? What effects did that have on your life?
I didn't get a chance to really get interested in that because I started the film business so early, started acting so early. It definitely, I didn't know it at the time, but it gave me work ethic, I think, a little bit. Every day he was up at 6 in the morning, off to work, and home at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day, no matter what, rain, snow.
Yeah.
It didn't matter that he was.
You did it.
He did
You
it. He
showed
got
up.
up and he went out. He did what he had to do, and it's kind of what I took going forward from him. I got into acting by accident. A fifth grade teacher, out of punishment, said, "If you want to be class clown, maybe you should join the theater," and so I did, and I just ended up loving it. So I came from a family where most of my family were longshoremen. They worked on the docks, and my father was a mechanic, and it's a small hockey community in Canada. And so randomly, they've got a son who is now in theater and who lands a huge role in Hollywood, and so it was really a weird
So it's
situation.
a little bit about your work ethic then, and maybe it came from that, right? To show up, go online, be prepared.
Yeah,
Because I think that's what I got from my dad, was a work ethic.
Yeah, that's the big one that I got from him.
Yeah.
He was also a man that would give anybody the shirt off their back, and he was, he sounded a lot like one of the Mackenzie brothers from Strange Brew. He had that thick Canadian accent. He was an all-around nice guy at certain things, and I definitely got the work ethic from him.
Okay. All right, who wants the first question? I didn't see it. Raise your hand. Kevin's going to be walking around with the first question. Oh my gosh, I have a whole list. I will take them from you. Go.
On behalf of everybody here, anyway, thank you to that fifth grade teacher.
Yeah, thank you. I tried to track her down in a normal, I wanted to thank her, but I guess she must have got married and changed her last name, and she doesn't. I couldn't find her. And calling the school, they were not about to give up her info to me. So one day maybe I'll.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, this is gonna be really weird. Can you look at a log truck the same anymore since Final Destination?
I get into the other lane myself. I wasn't in part 2, but I've seen it and love it, and that was probably the best death in the whole franchise still to this day. And if I see a log truck in front of me, I'll either hang back or veer over.
Which leads me to our previous conversation before I brought it. Jeffrey Reddick wrote the original draft of Final Destination, right? And you guys know where Jeff's from? Who knows where Jeff Reddick's from? Nobody. I heard Kentucky. He's from Breathitt County, Kentucky, for anybody Eastern Kentucky. Anybody know that? No. Yeah. Did you know that?
That he was from Kentucky?
Yeah.
I did know that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I did know that.
Yeah. Sorry. I was just wondering if any of them knew that the original writer. Okay, Jeff Reddick.
Deep southeast.
Admit that, I'm saying.
I mean,
Breathitt County, they don't admit that.
Yes, Jeff's a nice guy. All
He's
right.
a very nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's got the next
got
question?
the next one.
There you go, Barbara.
I saw her.
So you've done both horror and horror comedy, obviously with now I'm
Idle Hands.
No, I was thinking Idle Hands, but also the Christmas one with
Black
Bruce
Friday.
Campbell. Black
Yeah,
Friday,
Black Friday.
which was kind of I feel like it's a little underrated. Like not everyone knows about that one.
Yeah.
But do you have a preference? I mean, do you kind of like to be silly or whatever, or do you prefer the straight horror?
I grew up loving, like, I think I loved horror comedy when I was a kid. Not necessarily intentionally comedy, but like things like Critters and Ghoulies and Tremors and Gremlins and like the campy 80s, 90s horror films. That's what I Return to the Living Dead. It goes on and on, where sometimes they're not intentional comedies at all, but they are, and so I kind of loved that. So I love doing those, but I also love the straight horror as well. I like that there's so many different genres of horror nowadays, and I like to dip into all of it.
Okay. All right. Who's got our next question here? Right here.
Since you got to play different characters in Chucky and the TV series, which of the characters that you played was your favorite for that show?
The President's Double was my favorite. He was the smallest of the characters too, and I think that if he had gone on and been a bigger character, he might have gotten a little annoying and obnoxious. But it was fun to be that dopey kind of version of the president. I think that out of all the characters I played on the show, that one's closest to me. I had a good time playing that guy.
Why is that closest to you?
Because I don't take everything so seriously like any of the other characters, and I'm a little dopey and fun
You do not.
at times. So
I mean, we've only been like 6 minutes, but you do not come across as dopey.
well, thank you.
At all, unless I'm
Thank
missing.
you.
Ladies, is he dopey?
Oh.
No, I don't think so. All right. Yeah.
We're over there.
How did it feel to play the different characters in Chucky the series?
It's an actor's, in my opinion, it's an actor's dream to play multiple characters within one world, within one, because you get to, it's a challenge to make each one different, to walk different, to talk different, to dress different, to have different backgrounds and emotions, and so I like to be challenged, and I think that's the most challenging you can become as an actor, to do with different characters within the same world. Doing the dinner scene with the twins, where I played the alcoholic and the highly successful uncle with each other, talking to each other. I mean, it's just it's rewarding as an artist to get to do that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
All right. Cool. Go to the next question over here.
What has been your favorite role so far?
Your favorite role?
So it's a interesting question. Which is the most fun I had shooting, or which one did I think turned? Because
Both.
Final Destination, I think turned out really well, but it wasn't a lot of fun to shoot because it was cold and wet, and, long nights and screaming and crying and all sorts of other stuff going on. But the end product, seeing in the theater with an audience and seeing their reactions to the bus scene or the plane scene was powerful. And so but having fun, idle hands, because of where we our age and the cast and what the subject matter. We were making a movie about pot smoking, and one guy has his head cut off in the reading burrito. I mean, it was just stupid fun, and we had such a great time. So there's different reasons for different things and why I like things. And Hunter x Hunter, for instance, that was a tough shoot. We had no money, nobody got paid. We all did it for the love. We believed in the director and his project. It was in Winnipeg. It was right at the edge of winter. We got rushed out of there one day because the storms were coming in, snowstorms. But after all that shit that we endured, the end product was made it all worth it.
If you don't mind, I'd like to brag on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Who here has seen Hunter x Hunter? So I have two best friends, and one of them messages me, and we do a lot of this stuff together, and I'll keep this PG-ish. Is that okay for everybody? He's like, listen, you son of a bitch, stop what you're doing. It's on this streaming service.
Yeah.
You're going to review. I do a review for ScareFest. You're going to review it. And I normally tell him to go to hell because, best friends for 20-some years, that's what you do, right? You just like drop dead. And I said, fine. And I was just floored. I'm not saying that. And then when we'll be doing something later, and he messages, he goes, "You have a question for about Hunter x Hunter, right?" And I was like, "No, I want to bring it up." If you haven't seen it, find it. What's it streaming on right now?
And last time I checked, it was
it on
Hulu.
Tubi?
It was on Hulu, but I think that was a while ago, so it might have changed. It's somewhere.
I can't.
AMC Plus.
AMC Plus.
Okay, there you
It's
go.
worth it.
And
It's
probably Shudder too.
Yeah.
I know it was on Shudder as well.
It's worth the $5 to $10 absolutely to watch it. It's a wonderful movie, and you were great in it.
Thank you. But do me a favor, don't Google it, don't watch the trailer.
Nothing.
Don't look at, just go in completely blind. That was the only, we shot it just before the pandemic, and it came out by contract that they had to release it during the pandemic. So we didn't get to go to film festivals, we didn't get to do any press, so essentially it just got buried, and then it started gaining, popularity by word of mouth. Mike Flanagan hired Summer Howell for Carrie over it. Camille Sullivan went off to do great things after that. It gave me a little bit of a bump just from word of mouth, but
Yeah.
it's a terrific film that we made from heart, no money, and it's something you want to go in knowing nothing about. Just watch it, and it's gonna change some stuff for you.
I couldn't agree more. Chad was like, don't, just watch it.
Yeah.
And I did. And you're right. The less you know, the better it is.
Yeah,
especially
and
for
it's
kids.
short. It's I think it's 87. It's an 87-minute slow burn to being all worth.
But it's the perfect. Whereas a lot of independent films, they tend to go a little longer.
Yeah,
right?
it didn't need it.
No,
Didn't need it.
it didn't need it. There's no fat on that movie at all.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Got it.
So you mentioned Idle Hands being one of your favorites to film. What was one of your least favorites to film?
Least favorite movies to film.
Well, there's a lot of different reasons for that too.
Oh, we want to hear them all. Everyone put down your phones. It will never leave Lexington, Kentucky.
Hunter x Hunter, for instance, was not fun. It was in Winnipeg, out in the woods. We had old hunting shit on, and it was cold. We were wet. You get those goosebumpy, and the bags. The props decided they were going to put all shit in our bags, so they weren't even everything was heavy. It was long days, and they had to shoot it in 14 days, and so it was a hard shoot. But I would do it again because of what. But then there's other movies that is just a shit show because.
What's a good shit show?
Oh God.
Come on. One. I know there's several, but because everybody has work, there's always a shit show happens at work, right? Same thing. So what's a good shit show?
I don't even know. I can't. I don't even know.
You know
I
what I'm
can't throw
saying?
anybody under the bus. I have not. You know what? Here's the thing, though. I've been doing this for almost 40 years, and I don't have too many bad experiences.
That's great.
Yeah. Even some of my movies that didn't work at all. There's a movie. Creatures of Darkness or something like that. It still was all right to shoot. We gave it our all. I've been blessed to have had overall the lion's share of the stuff I've done has been a great experience. I could if this was if I had one of those things for Men in Black and I could snap it, you guys would all forget. I could give you a couple of funny stories,
It's okay.
but I'm not that guy.
Well, I'll follow up with this. You've been sober for a while, and you've talked about your sobriety.
Yeah.
And yeah, please. And all thanks to you.
Yeah.
Great job. But what is the craziest thing that you guys got into shooting Idle Hands? I mean, at the time.
You know what? Idle Hands was before my crazy days in Hollywood.
Well, it doesn't even have to be drug fueled. It's just when you've got all those young men on a set with all that.
Well, I will say that as far as I never brought that to work. There was a period of my life where I went off and partied in Hollywood for a few years and then got sober. But I'll go back to Idle Hands. There was one time. Where Seth and Eldon had a long break and they were in full zombie makeup. And Eldon had the duct tape around his head because he had just cut it off, and Eldon had the bottle in his head, and they had 4 or 5 hours off, and they disappeared, and while we were shooting, and we were on the Sony Columbia TriStar lot, and they came back 4 hours later, and they busted into the Jeopardy set, and had taken all these Polaroid pictures them in full zombie gear and behind the buzzers and like doing the full Jeopardy thing. So they had snuck onto the Jeopardy set and came back with all these, and shit like that happened all the time. Idle Hands was just fun. We just had a great time.
And that's what I meant by it, is like there had to be, because you're just at that age, you're like, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, it was.
You're just going out and doing it.
I don't know about everybody else, but it was right before I had to start paying rent or a mortgage or bills. Or I still had no worries in the world. I was just on the break of having responsibilities, and so yeah, it was just a good time, and it was. I just remember, being my cheeks being sore from Seth Green and his jokes all day. It was just a good time.
Yeah, you're welcome, right? All right. Who has the next question? Everyone ready? There.
Casper,
Yeah.
how was that?
I remember everything about shooting that because it was my very first. I had been working in Canada on all the Canadian projects, and all of us Canadians at the time were looking. It was really hard back then to bust into the American market because there was no internet, there was no digital. You couldn't tape yourself and digitally send it. You basically, we would all send our tapes down for different auditions in FedEx, and who knows where they went. And so I made a tape for Casper, put it in a FedEx, sent it away with the other hundreds I had done over the years. And somehow it landed on the right desk at the right time, and I got a phone call, and they wanted me to come down. It was when my parents were out of town on their reunion for their marriage. They never went out of town. It just happened to be this weekend. And so my grandmother and I went down there. It was the first time a limo showed up. Like, it was like a big stretch limo to pick me up to go to the airport. Me and my little Polish grandma jump in this limo, and we get on first class, which was like insane. She was I remember her putting buns in her purse because she didn't know whether they would feed us when we got there. So she was taking the little buns they gave us first class, so we had something to eat down there. We got down there, and another limo to the Universal Hilton, and we got to the Universal lot, and they had built this huge mansion inside this sound stage, and my grandmother's face was just like, I couldn't. We were meeting Steven Spielberg, but she could care less because she couldn't believe they had built this house inside this sound stage. I met the director, and I met Spielberg, and I met Christina, and I got the part. They flew me home, and then a couple weeks later, I came down to shoot it, but I remember everything about it, and how magical it was, and how life-changing, and yeah, it was a great experience.
You are absolutely amazing. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
everything you have given us.
I appreciate it.
With
Thank
your
you.
career.
Thank you.
The airplane scene in Final Destination.
Yeah, tough.
Woo.
Stuff. Yeah, that's when we used a lot of practical effects, and so they had brought this plane, the whatever they call it,
On the gimbal?
on the gimbal, they had built this whole thing, and so they shucked us around all day, and we were, it was, big fans, and they were throwing styrofoam seats at us, and it was,
So glamorous.
Yeah, they would pass certain actors, like, do anybody need gravel? Does anybody get motion sickness? Because it was all, they were going for it. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, where's the
Next one.
What was your experience on movies like Night of the Twister and then Wild America with Jonathan Taylor Thomas and his 8-0?
Two different experiences. Night of the Twister was a low-budget Family Channel movie that I didn't see till I was 28 because we didn't get Family Channel in Canada. It was shot at really quick, and it was, apparently people liked it. Wild America we shot that over 3 months, all over America and Canada, and I love Jonathan. He became like a brother to me, and yeah, it's both different experiences, but both really, really cool experiences.
You
I
ready?
love both of those movies. Just saying.
Thank you.
All right, next question.
Were there any characters that you felt like whenever you took them that you resonated with and were able to put your own personality into and enjoyed?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's.
Well, you take a little bit of your personality into everything, right? Different aspects you're always looking to.
I'm trying more and more not to. I'm trying to get as far, like, the more and more I get away from being man and go into character. Like, I want to move into character. I really respect what people like Gary Oldman do, and you know, just getting it, like, the amount of range he has, and that's what I'm really trying to do in my later years, is try to be as far from me as possible.
Yeah.
But I'm sure me creeps in a lot of them, you know.
Right.
I just did something recently that I think is the closest to me that I've done in a long time, but although I can't talk about it yet.
Yeah, you can.
I really can. I really can.
I've been saying that for a decade, and it never works. We're never going to tell anybody.
You're right. I can. Here it is.
Right, there's not an NDA.
Forget that NDA. I'm just gonna go for it.
You didn't sign an NDA and then an NDA about the NDA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
So you did mention you
I'm
worked
Little closer. There you go.
Okay, yeah, you did mention you worked with Spielberg and also worked with like Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis, a lot of greats. Who have you met that's made you like the most starstruck?
Yeah, who have you been the most starstruck about? That's not a bad question.
So there's been a few people that I've asked for a few autographs in my life. The first was The Rock, but it was back in the '90s and he wasn't an actor yet, and I was in my Attitude era.
You are a wrestling fan.
I don't know if I would feel the same about him nowadays. Like, he's great, like, he's very talented, but he was The Rock back then, and
Right.
like, you know, and I was younger. And then Stan Lee I met, and that was a big one. And then I met Mark Hamill, and I did a fight scene with Stallone, which felt like very bucket list. So.
Absolutely. So back to Stan, you nerd.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite comics?
Well, Spider-Man was growing up. Spider-Man was.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I read like standalone Batman stuff, like the Long Halloween, or like those kind of graphic novel-ish kind of books every once in a while.
Yeah, like The Killing Joke with the Joker, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, absolutely. With the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
All right.
Got it right here.
For old time's sake, can I keep you?
Thank you.
You never get that, right? Never, ever, 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 ever.
It never gets old. It really.
That's
It's the movie that started it all. There was a period of my life where I hated it. Like, I don't want to talk about Casper or Teen Beat or anything like that. But then I like grew up and realized how important that stuff was to getting me to where I am now.
Right, absolutely. And not everyone had that experience. Yeah, absolutely.
On the back of that question, real quick,
Yes, please.
can you say it for us real quick?
Can I keep you?
Thank you.
Well, I mean, he was good looking, but now you're hot. No, I'm joking.
How was filming Stan?
It felt different than anything else I had done or still have done, because I'm a huge fan of music in general and also hip hop, and so it was my chance to crash their party. There's no way I was ever getting into the hip hop world or the music world, so I was let in for 3 days to this really cool world that I was a fan of. And Dre was directing, and you know, D12 and Eminem and Cypress Hill had come through at one point. Like, it was just really a surreal experience, and I'm super grateful that I got to do it. I had a lot of fun. I think Dido, I think she may have had to go to a therapist after that, because it was intense. It was intense. So.
Okay. Next question.
Going back to really older movies.
Not that old.
Me and my cousin grew up watching Little Giants. It's like one of our favorite movies, and now our kids watch it. But like, what was your experience? Like, did you guys have a lot of fun taking that as kids because you weren't playing a game?
Yeah. So Little Giants was public. So I did. Now and Then was the movie. It was during the summer of Now and Then that I saw the movie Pulp Fiction, and everything changed as far as how I felt about what I was doing in the business. And the reason I say that is because Little Giants We showed up. It was like summer camp. We showed up. We put on football pads. We played football all day. When we weren't playing football, we were slamming pogs or playing Dungeons and Dragons. Or when it was all about like we were just a gaggle of kids having a great time, or not having like, or just being kids. It was just kids, and it wasn't until now and then where I realized, oh, this is an art, and I could be, this is, we could be characters, and we can, it's something different. But Little Giants was much like that. It was 3 months summer camp full of kids, and it was just a great time.
So you mentioned Pulp Fiction though, so that it just you watch, because I remember the first time I saw it, and I said, to me, it's the most influential film in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
To me.
Mm-hmm. I think that I'd seen a lot of movies up until Pulp Fiction that I really enjoyed, but I think it was a combination of I was working with a lot of very famous actors, Demi Moore, Rosie O'Donnell, Tom Hanks was there, Bruce Willis was there, kind of, like there was a lot, and so I was looking at what they were doing. Bruce was involved with Pulp Fiction, and I was a certain age, and I sat down and watched Pulp Fiction, and it kind of changed. And he changed. I mean, the movie was changing to everybody. Really, he did something that hadn't been done.
You don't. If you're not old enough, you don't realize how much that switch was just flipped overnight. Right?
Yeah.
Of just independent cinema, the blowing up of Miramax. I could go on and on
Yeah.
and on and on, and how so many imitators came by right around that. And it was Tarantino was a voice that just no one had ever heard of. There had been Reservoir Dogs, but nothing quite like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, and it made me go back and watch a lot of the other. I started looking at movies differently from the past too. Movies like Rain Man or Awakening or Scent of a Woman or The Shining, and starting to watch these men's performances, and I was becoming a man, and like it was just. That's when it all started. That's when I stopped having fun on set and became a thespian. Until Idle Hands rolled around and we all just started fucking around
Strasbourg,
again.
and I am going to only be this character,
Right.
and I only follow the method.
Right.
Yeah, and we'll get it. All right, who's our next question? Right there.
Got one right here.
All right, this might be a bit strange. You've been blessed to have a lot of great roles.
Thank you.
Yeah, we love you. Everybody loves you. Not every actor has the same luck that you have. Some people have had to go through a lot of crap movies to get to where they are in their career.
Man, you have not seen my resume.
I was going to say, has anybody ever walked up to you and said, I hated you in this movie, or this movie sucked?
Has anybody ever said, I hated you in this, or this movie sucked? Yes. Yes. It usually comes on Sunday at one of these things. But
in 11 years I've been doing this, I've never ever had not in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Where someone who's got up and said that sucked, and I've seen it at other panels.
Yeah.
But we've never had it. Not
Yeah.
ScareFest.
Some people have been blunt and honest and have said, I did a movie, I'm sure everybody, well, maybe you know or you don't, I did a movie with Glenn Danzig called Death Rider, and I was like, you see, this is that. Why didn't you just say it?
You're not being rude though, right, dude?
No. Listen, it was a choice. And so people.
It was a bold choice.
It was a bold choice. Glenn was trying something new and different, and so I've had some people ask me about that movie, and obviously there's been a couple of others. But listen, you win some, you lose some. I stand by everything I did, I've done, and so listen, I get in this. I take the money, and when taking the money, part of the job is that you guys can like or not like what I'm doing. So it's part of the gig, man. Part of the gig.
All right. And no one ever shows up on the first day of set going, I'm going to make the worst movie ever.
Oh, they do. Oh,
Their
I know-
actual director, the only one I've ever heard was Carpenter on Ghost of Mars, and it's been documented going, this is the biggest piece of shit I've ever
Oh,
done.
you have no idea how there's actors that show up that
Are there really actors who's like, well, I get that.
I haven't dealt with it. I haven't dealt with it too many times, but you know that you can tell when an actor shows up and like they don't know if they're a good guy or a bad guy in this film because they have no idea. Like they're just taking, you know,
They're taking the check.
taking the check. But luckily, I haven't dealt with that too much. But
If you've never known, Michael Caine, the great Michael Caine, has a story about Jaws 4. It's like, I've never seen the movie. By all accounts, it's a terrible picture, but I've seen the house I bought my mom,
yeah.
and it's lovely.
Hi.
Hey.
So I'm a poker player, so I'm curious. Have you ever played poker with Jennifer Tilly?
I've not.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to play poker.
Oh.
I don't. Like, her and I have talked about that. She said she would teach me, but I don't know.
That'd be very nerve-wracking.
Yeah. She's good. I know that. She's good.
All right, we've got a time for like a couple more questions, and then we are wrapping up. While we're waiting on this, any upcoming things you want to talk about? What do we got coming out that you need to plug?
Coven Academy. I'd like to tell this story because
Please.
It's a random story, but I did this Disney Plus TV show called Coven Academy that I'm very proud of, and it was a lot of fun to shoot. But it was really weird because when I got the offer for it, I was sitting in the car, my agent was pitching it, and I never really thought of myself as being on a Disney Plus kind of show, right? I don't know.
I can't imagine why.
I love horrors. Chucky was so amazing to me, and working with Bruce Campbell. So like Disney Plus, I don't know. But as my agent pitched it to me, I was sitting in the car and I looked over at my 10-year-old daughter, and her face was lit up. She was so excited about this show for a school of witches, and I knew right then why I had to take it, and I'm so glad she just saw a trailer for it, and it's the most magical, no pun intended, little show, and I'm so excited for it. So that comes out in September, and it's for all ages, but it really is for preteens and teens, and it's like a Harry Potter, but cross between Harry Potter and Wednesday in a school for young teen witches, and it's really magical. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm really excited my daughter is excited. So.
All right, we got one last question. No pressure on the dude in the back with the beard. No pressure at all. You've got the last question, my man. No pressure. I know, I love doing this to people.
I'm here for moral support.
Feel so safe.
I can give you a hug if you want, but it's better for Kathy.
I'm gonna stick with the.
I don't blame you.
No, so obviously, like most of us whose back hurts currently, we grew up watching a lot of your movies and stuff. And I was thinking of a couple of them, like Little Giants.
Yeah.
My brain. Thanks for putting pressure on me. My brain just.
I'm an asshole.
Out of hands. That was the other one. And okay, I digress. But there was three I was thinking of. Those are two of them. Is there was any chance of rebooting, re-sequel, anything like that? Anything in your oeuvre?
Good work.
English major. It's done nothing for me because I work in a factory.
Except for they're great at cons.
But is there anything that you would like to, I don't know, like reboot, do a sequel of, anything like that, just in your past?
Good job, dude. You did a great job, and that's actually a really decent question. Good job.
I always thought that I wanted to revisit something in the Stan world again, but we did Eminem did that documentary, and I kind of buttoned it with a little thing in there, and that felt like closure. And I think I don't know. Maybe I'm aged out of Final Destination. It works really good with younger people. I heard the Stranger Things kids are gonna take a stab at Idle Hands, and maybe there's a spot in there for me. But I'm more curious to see what. First of all, I'm never gonna play a high school stoner again. Or maybe that is fun. Maybe I do it. It's really fun.
I want to write that tonight.
I'm really. What's that? You never know. You never know. But I'm curious to see what they would do with it. I don't know. I think I think I'm all right, you know, with going forward. Yeah, I'm leaving on Tuesday to do this thing that I'm really excited about. Another a season of a show that I love, and Coven Academy, and so I'm good moving forward. Who knows? We'll see, you know, if something comes along, I'd be interested.
But yeah, the Scream, we bring back legacy characters all the time. It is a thing. He is correct. Why have we not done this with Final Destination? It's true.
Never know.
All
You know what? The Final Destination, they're masters at casting young, up and coming actors that always go off to become huge deals, and so I stayed a fan of that franchise, and I love seeing what they do. It's like, I tell people, it's like kind of like real quick, it's kind of like
Take your time.
American Idol, where these young singers go on and they take a stab at their own versions of these big hit songs. So I like watching these new actors give their own spin to the premonition. You know, and we all had our own kind of take on that opening sequence, like me with the plane, or whatever, the kid with the bridge, whatever it is, the restaurant thing, whatever the new premonition. I like to see the new stab at their version of it. You know, it's interesting.
And with that, do me a favor, stand up, scream. He's going to be here all weekend. If you haven't seen him,
Thanks, guys.
stop by his table. Thank you so much. Give it up for Devon. Come on.